Hello viewers. One of the things around homesteading, out hiking, doing prepper survival stuff is that we're always looking for native weeds and plants to eat. However, if in an established homestead where you're growing your own vegetable and fruit crops, there are parts of some of these plants that are edible, apart from either the fruit or the vegetable it's producing. So we'll do this is what this playlist is about. There are other food sources out there, and during the years that I've been hiking around the countryside, I've found a lot of places where the homesteads have long gone, but they've left the fruit trees behind, and in some cases the vegetables are still sprouting, growing wildly, I suppose you could say. I found this here in Australia. I certainly found it over in the United States when I was hiking over there over the last 2 trips I've been there over the last 4 or 5 years. Wild apple trees, things like that. So when you're out there foraging, looking at food or around your own homestead, it's always a good idea to have some information on what other parts of the plant that are safe to eat. The condition being that, particularly around homestead sites, that sort of thing, or you've got orchards or vegetable gardens, you've got to be very, very careful that they have not been sprayed with toxic chemicals for insect or control or that sort of thing. And certainly not by roadsides where you get layers of toxic chemicals from passing traffic and all that sort of stuff deposited on parts of the plants that are edible, whether it be the fruit or other parts of the plant or tree. So that's one of the conditions you've got to think about. Also with fertilizers, that's another one. You've got to be very careful too. So when you're applying chemical fertilizers, not organic, chemical ones, some of it's in the form of dust or liquids, may spill, or wind maybe wind carried onto other parts of the edible plant. So that's something to keep in the back of your mind. So this video series here, I'll cover the plants we've got growing at our place, the trees, and some vegetable crops. We haven't done very well with vegetable crops this season, mainly because we've had a very hot, dry summer, and we've had some very severe storms that have decimated some of our fruit trees. And that brings into question that sometimes with your fruit trees from season to season, the fruit cropping may be good, maybe not so good, but there may be other parts of the tree that you can use as a food supplement for nutrients and things like that. Same with vegetable gardens. For example, pumpkins. Pumpkins around this area, depending what variety it is, they produce a lot of pumpkins, sometimes they don't. So what other parts of the plant are edible? That can be applied to a lot of other vegetables too. So we'll talk about that later on in the series, but the main thing to realise and to think about is, first of all, do the research. Just don't take my word for it. I'll put links down in the description box down below. And remember that if you're out there foraging or whatever, or even if you're growing your own stuff, if you're spraying chemical sprays around for insect and all the other thing, fungus control, whatever it is, that sort of chemical stuff, they're toxic. You really can't eat any other thing off the plant. Same with spreading artificial fertilizers around. That can cause a problem too, particularly on vegetables and things like that. So we'll do the rounds. I don't know how many videos is going to be in this one. Sort of just finding stuff like that. Yeah, I've got a lot of weeds in my yard that I can eat. I've identified them I can eat. I've also got a lot of fruit trees, and they haven't got a very good crop of fruit on them this year, but other parts of those trees are edible. Talk to you about that later. Thank you for watching.